Hello everyone. I'm going to do a little Inktober today. Hopefully you want to come and join the fun. We're going to do a little doodle. So let's get started because I was thinking of what else to do, and I thought maybe I'd do it in Harmony for a change. Got an annoying little fly there flying around. Yeah, so I'm going to do it in Harmony, and I'm just going to use. Sometimes it's kind of nice to use drawing packages, for just drawing, not animation or not anything else. There's lots of crossover a lot of the time, so I can do a frame per day. So got plenty of room here on the timeline, and I'm just going to keep it simple and show you how I set up for sketching. So let me get started. Where's my Harmony? Okay, so here's Harmony. This is just, I literally call it Inktober 2025. I've not changed any of the palettes. I'm going to get rid of the right node for clarity. What normally happens with Harmony is when you create something else, like something new, it always chucks it straight in the middle. So I like to move things around a little bit. So I'm going to delete that one. And I could do this all on one layer if I wanted to. I think for now I'm going to create, this is going to be my rough idea. And I'm going to get rid of a load of these and add a new color, kind of like a bluish color. And this will be my rough. Cool. Okay. So nothing too complicated to start with. Okay, so let's also chuck in a color card. Obviously, you can use any software you want to use, or just draw on paper. I did want to draw, I was going to draw on my iPad, but I'm using the cable for the webcam because of the issues I had yesterday. I just discovered yesterday that Apple Mac Minis have different speeds on the front and the back ports in terms of like significantly different, and they interact differently. Like the ones on the back are Thunderbolt, the ones on the front are USB-C, which is a form of Thunderbolt. Oh, it's very confusing. So anyway, I plugged it into the back with a USB-C and it works fine, which is cool because it was lagging the other day. Okay, so I've got this nice white color. I think I'll go kind of like a bit more papery. There's something very nice about working on that. And I always lock this layer so I can't accidentally click it. So the Inktober prompt for today, let me just make this up. Inktober, oops. I've got this one. 2025. Is day one, and it's a mustache. Okay. So you can kind of see how I use the program a little bit for illustration. It's, I mean, a lot of people will be like, oh, I only use Photoshop, and that's great. I just think nowadays, so many good programs that you could realistically do professional level illustration in. Put this under here. And so you might think, why are you wasting time doing this, Adam? Well, it's kind of like part of my warm-up. Like when you were at school and you doodle in the side of your notebook or whatever. This is the same for me. Helps me get into the groove a little bit. Cool. And if it's looking all a bit like it keeps changing size, you can choose to flatten it. you can convert the pencil lines to brush, and then it will scale perfectly, like so. I'm going to pop this over here. It's kind of like a little stamp here. That works good for me. Okay, stop faffing around now. So we've got our little logo thing here. I'm just going to rename this as well, because this is going to stay. And then we'll have the rough on this level. Again, we'll lock this one. Just whilst I'm here. Let people know where I am. So if you're doing Inktober, I'd love to know what variation you're doing, if the original or whatever, if you do it or you don't at all, or if there's something else. It's good to share. To me. Cool. Okay, back in the room. So what are we going to do for this? Well, I'm going to get my little blue. And you see how it's like faded out if you're using Harmony? It's because of this top light tool, well, the light table and the top light. So I can choose to lower the opacity of other things. It's handy. Right. So I've got this. This works okay. When I'm roughing, I just will use just a normal pencil, probably, like this. Maybe a little bit more, too much. But if you want to keep it like really nice and soft, you could go in and adjust this. Change the opacity down to, I don't know, 0, and make it pen pressure sensitive. Refresh that so that updates that pencil. Cool. Great, we're going to be able to draw something with that. So mustache, what can we do? Well, I'm not going to try and reinvent the wheel with this because it won't necessarily be a super long session, but what do we think of when we think of mustache? Just start drawing things. So I'm just playing with shapes a little bit. So I was thinking maybe the body could be like this. Maybe it's like a sneak. I could start with a brief if I wanted to, but get a little bit of similar shape there. Now, what could make this ridiculous? Playing with those feet a little bit. What could we do up here for the hair? Probably need to think about what this character is before I go any further. So I quite like the idea of just being kind of bold and with this massive moustache. What about a little tongue? Just hanging out there. And then maybe the reason the tongue is hanging out is because he's tasted something. Maybe he's a thief of some description. What could he be stealing? Cake's a bit obvious. What about what's something you wouldn't steal because it doesn't taste that good, or just it's not. I don't know. My son loves carrots, so what about a massive carrot? That's kind of weird. What about? Don't really like this hand, but I like the idea of it being kind of dainty. So we would sort of create this. Something like that. So maybe moving that a little bit further away. So that's maybe the back arm. Loves a carrot. Maybe we get rid of this. His eyebrows, hair, and moustache all have the same style. Cool. Okay, that's a rough. So options are now add another layer, clean, and then see how this top light, we can adjust the wash, the opacity, kind of lock that rough layer. And I'm just going to switch this around. I remember I locked it. Right, for this one I'm going to try out a new brush. So I've got my couple of saved. Oh, I did have some saved ones. This was in my other file. That'll do. That's going to look pretty cool. I'm wondering if I can mess with this. Depends how clean I want to go with it. I quite like the sketchy look. Let's go with that for now. You could use a couple of these tools as well. They have these like quite nice. Let's go pen settings. Chuck that in there. So you can use the pulled string method, which allows you to create quite nice smooth lines, or you can use the average. smooths things out. And obviously don't forget Control and Alt, Command Option. Just move that a bit away from me. Because the cool thing about the sketchy one is that you can get this like little extra flicks. Nice. Try and put some music on next time, so you've got something to listen to, or feel free to have me on and pop Spotify or SoundCloud on as well. Mix us together. I don't want to zoom in too much because I'll get too precise. Otherwise, I'll never keep it up. Let's see how ridiculous we can go with this tall. I think that's too much. That'll do. It's a bit of fun. Right, let's pop this nose in there. I could go with a slightly pointier nose. Give it a bit more structure. Same on this side. Just trying to get a little bit of variation to it. See what this one comes out like. of eyebrow variation. It's very good, this sketchy pencil. Feels pretty close to an actual pencil, which is good for what it's meant to do. Obviously, nothing beats a real pencil, but oops. Cool. And then we've got a little, maybe a little bit of something down the back here. I realise this character has no ears, so one too many lines in here now. Anyway, so looking a bit more kind of like fantasy stroke spitting image of Tony Blair, but you know who that is? Anyway, right, cool. Let's have a little zoom out, see where we're at. So this is what let me just turn that off. D to deactivate, E to activate. Yeah, so we can kind of see what we're working with. And obviously this is just going to be, I'm going to try and keep it quite Inktober-esque. Might put some heavy black in there. It'd be cool to shade this moustache in black. But before I do, let's just finish off all this kind of stuff. I think it'll look better in one line. Yeah, that'll look good. Or maybe we go into the buttons. Boop. So this hand's meant to be kind of like just wobbling a bit. Oh, just reminded you about Inktober. Yes, it's October already. Whoa. I know. Comes around quick, huh? I think that the cool thing about it is, you remember when you first heard about Inktober or just general art challenges? It was just, it was, people didn't take it too well. Generally, people thought, oh yeah, that sounds fun. They didn't feel like overwhelmed with things. I think that's the important sort of takeaway, is to not go into it. What am I trying to do here? Not go into it with some sort of like, oh no, it's stressful, and make it enjoyable. What have I done here? This is what happens when you have no idea of the structure. I think this finger's too long. That one definitely is. Oh dear. That's no good. Let's try that again. Yeah, the goal is to practice. If you are, even I'd simplify even further and say, if you are having fun with it, it's up to you what you use it for, but so many people just kind of get worn down by the need to improve and all that kind of thing. This hand is all over the place, right? Let's try and draw it again. So let's structure this. There's this bit here. And then let's throw, so this is the back hand, the thumb's going to be inwards, that's going to be the short finger. It's a really dodgy drawing finger, but there we go. And just fix that one. Okay, let's try that on for size. So I'll just get rid of all that, cut that one, back to my rough, get rid of all this. Paste it in. If you want to warp it a little, go perspective. Potentially made that worse. Oops. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, at least it's readable now. So, I don't know who the person is. I don't know what your name is. Sorry, I don't recognize it. But what are you doing are you doing the normal Inktober? Are you doing a variation, or anybody who's watching? Let me know what variation you are doing or have done. I've always only done the standard Jake Parker Inktober ones. Say standard. Those prompts are enough for me to work from. I kind of like the Halloweeny sort of thing. I'm a sucker for that. So I'm very aware that I'm spending too long on this. I'm getting lost in it. It is fun to try and work it out. But I don't want to put too much detail on this one section. Oops, less is more with this, for sure. That is a Yankee old hand, or thumb. It's because I've drawn it weird there. Let's try that again. Badtober, the idea of Instagram posting the roughest draft possible. Yeah, I can subscribe to that. I like that idea. So let me just flip using the mirror. Helps you see a little different. I think it's okay. See, I've made it worse by adding more lines instantly. Sometimes it is literally just best to leave the thing. Cool, okay. That's enough for that one. Let's finish these ones off. So I've actually, out of all my endeavors, Inktober has probably been one of my most successful because I do relatively well with the idea of just saying, okay, let's see what we can do. And the really light parameters that you get given seem to do well for my head. Do this on next. You can also do, by the way, if anybody's ever wanted to do that, like Photoshop-y kind of thing, you can have that over here, and then this one can be zoomed in. It's just an extra camera view, like the navigator in Photoshop. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about, is that there's plenty of illustration. No, Adam. Illustration-y kind of features. In loads of different packages, right? One of the things I really love about drawing by hand is that you just kind of get what you're given, you make the mark, and so try and, as much as possible, retain that. Oops. Just erase that the old-fashioned way. So you can use bitmap brushes as well. You just need to set your mode to bitmap, your layer. I mean, what's gone on there? So odd. Let's just get rid of it. Draw it again. It's the only thing about vectors, they can be so strange how they make decisions. So no matter where, like a vector program gets to with like naturalistic drawing, it's never going to be all the way with kind of a bitmap effect. And just things like weighting, the subtleties. Like when you tilt the pen or pencil as well. I'm going to leave that bit like as is, because I think that's cool and that's probably most inky. I do want to fix this there. Right, that'll do for that one. And let's do this, right. Maybe a ruffled up coat. Kind of want to avoid the feeling of a tangent there. I'm going to nick this hand very briefly. I'm going to pop it over here. Just a little bit of reference for myself. And this carrot. It is like drawing with a different material. When you draw kind of an inky, quite a nice flowy pen, digital. But I do find that it doesn't make any correlation to like drawing ability on paper, or very loose at least, on paper. So there we go. Okay. Quick down there and chuck this in the bottom. Get rid of that. A bit more on this arm. A bit of black on the bottom. And then, what can we do? I don't like those ears, so I'm going to get rid of those. ideas. You have to remind yourself this is like not for work, it's just for fun. I find myself going like kind of into work mode a little bit. This is why I feel like it's really good for me, at least, to do this, because I'm making decisions for like what I want to see. It just shows how little I actually draw for myself now. Cool. And then that's all on the line art layer. Yeah, just going to save that. I'm going to go on to the color. Hide my rough now. And maybe I could do some cool stuff with this. Not sure about that pen, so let's try out. We'll switch the uniform thickness. What's wet stripes like? Nope. That could be quite good. Right, we'll go with that one, and we will minimize the size, allow the opacity according to pen pressure. We'll add it, and we will call it as a stripy filler. I'm going to add it to my brushes in this file only. I would need to file, export to get it elsewhere. A couple of overlap issues there, but a bit smaller. Okay, and then and then. What we'll do is we'll just quickly chuck this into being a red, and then it helps me erase bits that are over. Oh, it's being annoying because it's all needs converting. That doesn't look so good. Okay, different technique. Let's do it in red. Just do it. Let's do it straight to black. What we were using. That's our sketchy. This one. Cool. Still on a different layer, but don't know if this is going to be way too dominating, but we'll see. Yes, it's horrible. Okay, so what I'll do instead, I don't want it to be too flat, you see, so I think what I'll do is I will, instead, I'll just use a normal, I'll use this pencil, and I'm going to throw in a black, but I'm going to make it kind of like a grey, sepia-y sort of thing. Call it sepia. And instead we will, oops, let's actually try a brush. Let's go with this. Oh, this could be cool. No, don't get tempted by Adam. Don't get tempted. Let's go with that. And we will go with the transparency minimum be affected by the pressure. And we will go a little bit lighter. Because what I'm going to try and do is just throw a touch of shading. Just give it a little bit of three-dimensionality, but without like kind of coloring it in. See, I could do all of this like this, make the brow quite dark. Might work. Put it under here. Bring that back up. I'm going to have to pull that up a bit more than that. Cool, it's a bit of fun. And then we'll push this up a bit. Just trying to look at this one a little for a guide. There's bits where you might want it to be quite dark to draw the eye in, so let's go over that a little bit more. Wait, it, and then, well, it looks like I've drawn a, oh no. What is that? Blue. Oh, it's this. I've drawn on the logo there. Yes, somebody just asked me, are you using Toon Boom purely for illustration? Yes, I am. I mean, I don't use it purely for illustration, but I can do if I want to. So yeah, it's just I'm using it literally because it's open, and I've been using the tools, so it saves me kind of like, you know, I'm not an illustrator by day or anything like that, so it helps me, my brain fatigue, switching over. I mean, I've used it for, experimented with it for like comics and all kinds of things. I've painted the backgrounds in it. So it's really quite versatile. So if you wanted to, you could put in loads more shading and stuff like that, but I think we are basically done. I think if I was to do it again, in fact I'm going to very quickly do it again, I would just make these legs a little less prominent. Just something like that, and then just because if I put too much like heavy black in on this illustration, I lose all the nice like line quality stuff, which makes it feel like a thick pencil. So I kind of want the weight underneath here to show the depth, but after that, maybe just a bit elsewhere. And that'll do. Cool. Pleased with that. That'll do for today. Bang on, 3 o'clock. Amazing. Do you use oil pastels as well, or purely digital? I've used oil pastels before, but not for a long time. So I actually quite like using watercolor. That's like my favorite thing to use. I like ink, non-watery, soluble ink, and so that's probably kind of informs this style a bit. You can see here where on the mustache I was experimenting and the line was a bit thicker, but that's okay. It's a bit of fun. If I wanted to really play with this, I'd probably put more of like a heavy texture lighting in there, decide where it's coming from. But that is my Inktober #1. So thanks everybody for joining in and watching. I appreciate you dropping by. Let me know in the comments if you're doing it, and if you've got a link to it, drop it in there. Let's have a look, see what else you can do. Like I say, I'm going to use this software, probably to use it for every day, do some doodles in it. It's easy for me when I'm working in the software already. I can just switch open to a different file, do a quick sketch. There's no, pressure or anything, no specific perfect sketchbook that I have to work into. So just make it easy for yourself, I guess. You could also limit yourself with the colors. You could say, you've got a blue, a red, and a black, or a black and white and what have you. Little challenges and things. Make it fun each day. But yeah, if you are joining next week, I'll probably do this one and show you the ones I've done in the week. So hopefully you can join there. So same time next Wednesday, maybe do some doodling. All right, thanks everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day. See you soon. Bye.